When we're not traveling, we consider our home base to be DeLand, Florida, a city where I grew up.
Now, there are many things to like about DeLand, but one of the things that we find interesting and kind of unique is the fact that the history of the city can be found on the sides of the buildings in the downtown area in the form of murals. So we're going to show you these murals in this video. The first mural is entitled DeLand at the Turn of the Century.
This mural represents a sampling of life in DeLand at the turn of the century. We follow the diverse commerce and people who lived and worked along the spur tracks, which ended at the College Arms Hotel, a retreat for winter visitors. The mural is in celebration of the people of color who lived and worked in Red City and Little Africa and helped to make DeLand the vibrant place it is today.
Henry's Vision. This mural has two sections. The smaller right side shows the St. Johns River steamboat dock that will later be named DeLand Landing. In the foreground is a larger-than-life image of the city founder, Henry DeLand. Mr. DeLand was taking his first vacation after 20 years to visit his sister Amelia and her husband, Oliver Terry. When his brother-in-law arrived to visit, Terry persuaded DeLand to extend his visit to Florida.
Mr. DeLand purchased the homestead of a family, paying $1,000 for almost 160 acres of land, and made plans to purchase more property later. He donated the land and funding for the building of a schoolhouse that would function as a church on Sunday. At a gathering of the handful of local homesteaders, the settlers accepted DeLand's donation of a swath of land to serve as a main street named Woodland Boulevard. They unanimously agreed to name the town in honor of the man whose vision had inspired them. Riverboat Landing. In the 1870s, there were no roads and no rail transport yet available for accessing the Central Florida interior. The only way for homesteaders to get into these densely forested wilderness lands was to travel south from Jacksonville on a St. Johns River steamboat. The south central bound steamboat travelers would put in at various landings along what was known as the Upper St. Johns region. This mural depicts one such landing near Lake Beresford.
New settlers would typically stay at the Alexander's Landing boarding house until they found their piece of property, got it cleared, fenced, and had a log cabin erected on it. The landing also had a general store and a fruit packing house. The first post office opened and was the community of Beresford. The steamboat landing near Lake Beresford remained active until 1933, when the steamboat lines finally ceased operations. Old Spanish Sugar Mill. This mural depicts Burt's Park that, in the 1920s, was located on the site of a natural sulfur spring in the present-day town of DeLand Springs.
By the late 1800s, Spring Garden was becoming a tourist destination. The spring, like all others in the state, flows out at a constant temperature of 72 degrees Fahrenheit, so it was a popular place to cool off during hot Florida days. Mr. Burt's Park took full advantage of the surrounding natural beauty and enhanced the setting with landscaped gardens, picnic areas, and a swimming pool. To attract even larger numbers, local residents changed the name from Spring Garden to Ponce de Leon and referred to the spring as the Fountain of Youth. The property was operated as a private recreational park until 1982, when the state of Florida and Volusia County purchased the currently 625-acre DeLand Springs State Park. Black bear family. The Florida black bear has ranged throughout most of Florida as well as southern portions of Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi. Volusia County is one of only 6 black bear population centers in Florida. An interesting fact about Florida bears is that they do not hibernate. Instead, they go through a period called winter denning, which occurs from December through late March, when pregnant females give birth and go without food.
In recent years, bear sightings have been increasing in Florida. In June of 2012, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission removed the Florida black bear from the list of endangered species. Pioneers at the Parceland. Through the constant promotions of Henry DeLand and other land speculators, visitors were encouraged to make an extended winter visit at one of the growing number of area inns and hotels. It was hoped that these vacationers would find the environment a major refuge of the icy blasts they had fled back in their home states and be enticed to buy property nearby. And, of course, many did, becoming the first snowbirds.
By the time of the mid-1800s, DeLand had become a bustling tourist town with several fine downtown hotels. Multitudes of tourists arrived in town from the steamboat landing by way of a narrow-gauge rail line. Upon their arrival at the downtown rail depot, passengers were able to take a hack, a hired horse and carriage, to the hotel of their choice.
Strolling through time with Bill. This is a portrait of Bill Dreggers, who became a cherished resource for both the facts and the folklore that contributed to this community's development.
The realization that the area's history was slowly disappearing, he set out to rescue as much of it as he could before it was too late. He created slide programs from his postcard and photograph collections and made appearances at schools and other venues dressed as Henry DeLand. Under his leadership, the West Volusia Historical Society was founded in 1973. Gibbs Clothing Store. The mid-century setting of this mural has as its subject a family-owned shop in the downtown business section. The image is located on the upper story of the building where the Gibbs family operated their clothing store for many years. The arched center window portrays the interior with likenesses of David and Doris Gibbs standing by the balcony railing. The window on the right shows the offices of the old switchboard telephone company.
A conversation over chess in 1929. In this delightful little pocket park, away from the hustle and bustle of downtown life, chess tables are set out amid the trees near ivy-covered walls. This is the ideal spot for people to have quiet conversations as they play. It is the only line art sepia tone drawing in the entire collection. Viewers see an intimate group of diverse people in 1920s era clothing who are sitting at the chess tables, chatting among themselves on a lovely sunny day.
Wild West Volusia. The subject of this mural is a broad perspective of an entirely nature-filled landscape of the expanse of water and shoreline along the St. Johns River. The artesian mineral springs that feed the river's waters create an extraordinary environment for flora and fauna that have fascinated visitors since the time they started arriving in 19th century steam-powered paddle wheelers. It has been designated as an American Heritage River. Bicycling on the Boulevard. Ironically, the only indoor mural is about an outdoor sport. It is set in the 1920s when bike riding was at the height of its popularity.
Almost every town had a bicycle club. People loved to ride their wheels, as they called them, from one community to another, and meet up with other wheelmen to socialize and perhaps have a picnic lunch. DeLand Naval Air Station. There had been an airport in DeLand since the 1920s, but the small town of DeLand was destined to play a large role in World War II when it donated its airport to the war effort. The Navy bought additional property nearby, and on November 17, 1942, opened the DeLand Naval Air Station that became a major training site for Navy pilots.
These carrier-based planes and their teams of pilots were credited with enabling the victory at the pivotal Battle of Midway by sinking a total of 4 Japanese aircraft carriers. Late in the war, starting in 1944, the station had the mission of training pilots to fly another carrier-based fighter, the F-64 Hellcat. River life. Marine life is a fitting subject for the city's only mural that is a water feature. It started as just an underwater painting, but the paint was soon washed away and a tiled image was substituted.
The muralist created a digital image composed of tiny pixels, and the mosaic artist transferred the image onto patterns of 2 centimeter square Italian glass tiles, where each of the tiles corresponded to a computer pixel. There were a total of 75,582 of these tiles in the completed mural.
Dominating the scene is the depiction of the West Indian manatee. They rarely venture into waters below 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and so are most commonly sighted during Florida's winter months when they migrate into shallow rivers, bays, and estuaries.
Living at the Landmark. Try imagining that when this excellently restored hotel opened in 1927, it had more than 40 rooms. In addition to containing a bed, each of these tiny spaces had a sink and closet cramped into it. However, there was one bathroom for every 2 rooms, and it was considered the height of luxury to only have to share the bath and toilet with one other hotel room.
After the golden age of hotels ended, the building deteriorated. Restoration began in 1997, and the hotel reopened as the DeLand Artisan Inn in 1999. During the restoration, the windows had to be blocked in because none of them met current fire codes, so a fire at the hotel could have easily spread to other buildings. The restorers of the hotel saw a creative solution to the problem of blocked-in windows. Each window's mural was painted to offer life-sized images of winter visitors standing at their various hotel windows. The visitors are portrayed with clothing and props appropriate to the 1930s and 1940s heyday of Edwin Barnhill's hotel.
So if you're ever visiting DeLand, be sure and take the mural walk. It takes you about an hour through the downtown area, and there's a guide you can get from the Volusia County Visitor Center, located at 116 West New York Avenue.
Thank you for watching this video, and if you like it, please comment, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe.
Give it a thumbs up.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.